Okay, so I know Halloween is next week technically, but to be in the spirit, I thought I'd dress up today. I am a cat. Meow. If you're watching this, I think it's fairly obvious, but Lamont, you're going to need to explain yourself.
I'm the rainbow.
Lamont, you're a rainbow poop.
But I'm the rainbow.
Is that a poop hat?
It is. But I'm the rainbow.
All right. I'll allow it, I guess. Meow.
I'm Lamont, and I love acting and putting myself in different type of characters.
And I'm Leah. You were acting?
And you're tuning into
The
the
Lamont and Leah podcast.
So we are in October. It's the later part of October, and October is Emotional Intelligent Awareness Month and Halloween Safety Month, among so many other national
Yes.
things. But some of the things that stood out was October 23rd, which is today, is National iPod Day. So if you have an iPod, pop those babies in your ear, listen to some of your greatest hits, just enjoy your day. What?
And all the younger viewers are just like, what's an iPod?
Do people not use iPod anymore?
Dude, no, they don't exist.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah, no, they don't exist anymore.
So what
Like,
are
they
people
don't.
using? I know I'm using Spotify, but like that's on my
Exactly.
phone. Oh.
That's
So no
all
one
they
uses
did.
an iPod anymore?
No.
Well.
So
October
today is National iPod Day. Rest in peace. A moment of silence. Amen.
All right. October 24th is October 24th is United Nations Day. So, we have a day. When are we going to walk the walk and talk the talk, people? That's all I got to say. All right. October 26th is National Pumpkin Day, so get ready to get your pumpkins and start your carving.
Yeah.
Anyone makes a great pumpkin pie, please send it my way.
I'll drop one off.
October 27th is National American Beer Day. I know, Leah, you prefer German beer, but I was like, hey, like, there might be some American beer that Leah likes. I don't know.
If anyone's got any, feel free to send that towards me, and I'll let you know what I think.
Wrapping us up on October 31st with Halloween.
Yay!
So be safe out there. Check all your candy before eating it. Don't eat anything that's unidentifiable. Be safe. Stay with your parents. Stay with your groups. Drink responsibly. Don't drive. Yeah. All
I don't
right.
even know what I'm doing, and it's next week.
So today on the Lamont and Leah podcast, we will be sharing our thoughts, beliefs, and stories about whether culture should be an acceptable costume for anyone. So, Leah, are you ready?
Something.
Alrighty then, I guess let's jump in.
Our note says Leia says something.
Something like
All right, let's jump in.
like, are you ready to talk about this?
Too late. It is what it is.
Oh Lord. We had planned this conversation and I was pretty firm. Like I thought I was pretty firm on where I stood on culture as a costume and stuff. But then I was doing some research and I saw some videos and now I'm a little confused. So I'm excited to kind of talk about this today because I still have some old feelings. I might have some new feelings, but hopefully we can like resolve all the feelings. I have a firm stance on my belief. I kind of want to start in with things that are not okay to like joke around or play around with. Like, what are some of your thoughts on that?
I think we briefly talked about this like before we even started filming because you asked me this question. I guess I would want you to like further define what you mean by play around with and joke about. Like actually just making jokes or making fun of or just like interacting with or
Yeah. So our main topic today is whether or not should we dress up as cultures for Halloween, right?
mm-hmm.
And I know, and you know, there's a big backlash of cultural appropriation
Mm-hmm.
and things that should not be played around. Like, it just should not be played around with. In the same sense, like, what are some things in our society that we should just not joke about
Mm-hmm.
or play around with or dress up or
Yeah.
do? Yeah.
I definitely think like different type of disabilities. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Another thing is rape. I don't think it's ever funny. Like, people like to
Mm-mm.
make jokes, but it's not funny. It's a very serious thing. Now, if you're listening to our podcast and you do, and you want to change your ways, great. If you don't, that's okay too. But I really want to encourage you not to, because someone could end up really emotionally hurt and
Yeah.
scarred, and we can totally do better. You know?
I think just like maybe SA in general, like sexual assault in general, like not just that specific topic, but like across the board. Yeah, it's not funny. People be making jokes, and I'm just like, how's fun? How's that funny? Waiting for them to explain. um, I think maybe. Well, I guess okay. So two that I think could like go either way would be physical appearance because I know the humor in I guess a lot of topics, the humor of it and the seriousness of it kind of can go hand in hand, and sometimes one can help the other, sometimes one can distract from the other. Um, like I know one of the biggest things that a lot of like comedians and like movies and stuff like to do is they love to do like fat jokes. And on one hand, as someone who is fat, sometimes I'm like, okay, that's like really messed up. Like that makes me feel bad about myself. But then there's some that are freaking hilarious. And so I think that kind of ties into like what we're trying to do today. At like what point is it crossing a line? Is it always crossing a line? Is it sometimes crossing a line? Is there like a sweet spot? Um and another one would be like religions or beliefs cuz some people would like to they like make jokes about different people's like beliefs and religions. And again, how far is too far? What is funny? Like I can crack a lot of like Christianity jokes because I was a Christian, but how is it possible that I can crack them and they're funny, but someone who's like, what's the opposite of Christian? Atheist?
Yes,
like
maybe.
I guess someone who's like an atheist or like just not part of Christianity, if they crack a joke, is it still funny? Is it not funny? Is it crossing a line? Big question. And I guess people would also say like, well, I believe in this. Like, what is one I hear a lot? Oh, I hear people crack jokes and their reasonings for it is like, oh, well, I'm such and such religion. We don't believe in trans people. Just as an example, Leah is totally fine. It's not just so no one quotes me on any I'm about to say. But like people make a trans joke and be like, "Oh, well, I'm part of this religion and we don't like trans people. Therefore, it's my belief. You can't get mad at me for it." But it's like then it becomes harmful. Does that
Right.
make sense? Like
Right,
I
right. No, I get what you're saying.
yeah.
And just because it's your belief that you don't believe that people can show up that way, people are still showing up that way, and you
Yeah.
shouldn't be disrespecting those people.
hmm And but then it goes back to like how far is too far. There's a lot of people who do trans jokes and they are kind of funny. Like, but then there's people who do trans jokes and they are just not funny. It's like, what is the difference? I know a lot of people like to argue that. Well, this person made a joke. How come I can't make a joke? Or this comedian made a joke and he's getting backlash for it. We all know who I'm talking about. But this other comedian made a trans joke and it's funny. How's that fair?
Yeah, it can get like as we go down the rabbit hole, like it can get pretty like hard to navigate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's why I think this is a very interesting topic. I'm really bummed that we couldn't find anyone else to talk with us today.
Yeah.
It happens. If you guys want to be a guest on our show and have a specific topic or even talk about a topic we've already done, let us know. Because sometimes it is hard to find someone to talk with us.
For sure, for sure. So, Leah, what does culture mean to you? Like, what is culture?
Okay, so I probably have mentioned this a million gajillion times on this podcast. I'm Hawaiian. I so Hawaiian culture encompasses the Hawaiian language, Hawaiian religious practices, which includes hula. We do have some traditional dress, but that's really like up in the air of like what is traditional versus what is colonized. But anyway, we have traditional food. We have, I already said language, music, I guess, dance. I already said dance. So stuff like that. Stuff that is like an identifying mark for a culture.
Right. And if I wanted to like go and experience your culture, that's okay, right?
Some would argue right now because of economic issues, but yes, like um I I feel like it's a mostly general consensus that when people come to Hawaii and they actually want to learn about our culture and they go out and they visit the different cultural sites respectfully and like go to our museums, learn about our history, that it's like okay, that's fine. We enjoy that. We appreciate that you're making that, effort to learn about something. Um so yeah, I guess you could argue yes, that is fine.
So, experiencing the culture is great, and maybe I'm in love with the culture, and I think it's great. A great idea for me to like put on a hula skirt, put on some coconut shells, put on a little lei, and go out and be a sexy like hula girl for Halloween. Am I culturally appropriating your culture?
If you're not watching the podcast right now, you're listening, you are missing this facial expression. No, I would definitely argue that that is a dick move, as one would call it. For various reasons. Number one, coconut shells are not part of my culture. Number two, if you're getting coconut shells and you're wearing a hula skirt, quote unquote, not part of my culture. It's not the same thing. And if you're buying a whole costume set, I can assure you that the lei you're getting a part of that costume is not part of my culture. I think that actually plays in kind of to a TikTok that I saw that I did want to share with us today.
All right, let's do it.
You see this? We want this. We love this.
Okay.
We need this.
Cool.
But this, yeah, we don't need this.
Oh, wow.
I can see the difference. Like those were very like respectful, like dressing styles, and then we go into not so respectful. Like I feel sexy, I want to show my body. If you want to feel sexy and show your body, feel sexy and show your body, just not in the cultural dress of another culture.
So I actually scrolled through the comments on this TikTok real quick, and I saw a comment that kind of like summarized it in a sentence. And they said, this comment is by Wispy Blues. Shout out to TikTok user Wispy Blues. They said, yes, properly appreciating versus sexualizing and disrespecting. And I can definitely like agree with this. Like sexualizing a culture, I definitely falls into like the cultural appropriation category. It's like like you, Lamont, I immediately had like my first thoughts of like what I thought on this topic, right? But the more I listen to other people tell their stories and tell their sides of thing and the way they see it, I can kind of like picture like two columns, right? One where it's like that is definitely appropriating, and one where it's just like, no, that's more of an appreciation. Maybe even like a third little middle column of like, who knows? But like sexualizing something, definitely appropriation, you know, because I think we talked about this in one of our episodes when we were talking about body positivity and fat shaming and how people fetishizing fat bodies is wrong. Like, it's one thing to love someone and not care if they are fat or skinny or whatever. It's another to be like, ooh, you're fat. I want you to stay that way because that is what gets me off, you know? It's kind of like the same thing with cultures. It's just like the way, like in this video's example, like these traditional Vietnamese clothes, they're for events, they're for dressing up, they're for wearing to do everyday things or different, you know, types of like, not rituals. What is, customs, there you go. It's for that type of thing. It's not for looking sexy. It's not for wearing and being like, ah, yes, look at me, I'm doing anything else that you're not supposed to wear this traditional garb for, you know what I mean? That got a little off the rails there, sorry. But yes, sexualizing is definitely over in the big no-no column.
Yeah, and I can, like, I'm gonna call myself out right now. So we're saying like we shouldn't be making fun of religions, right? Well, in my early 20s, I went to a Halloween party as a hung priest.
Yes, I'm pretty sure I have that video, not that video, that picture on the teenage dirtbag photos.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
probably. Yeah, well, what you didn't see was the big, huge dildo that I had
Lamont.
as the priest costume. And I thought it would be funny because I was like, oh, like, I'm not Catholic, but I can make fun of the Catholics because they like molested people, and like, wouldn't it be funny if a priest just walked around with a big, huge, like, boner all the time? And actually, that's not cool. Like, in my early 20s, like, that definitely, like, I wasn't thinking. Like, I wasn't
Yeah.
thinking. But as I reflect back and like, hey, that's not cool. I probably will never repeat that costume. With the more awareness that I have.
And it would be dumb of me to say that I haven't also probably made that mistake because I really like dressing up, like spirit days at school. My cup of tea. I participated through the roof. I'd get my friends to participate. I would costume them so that they would be participating. So I can't think of one, but I'm pretty sure. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if I've also done that in my past. Like, this is going a little bit off topic, but I think the idea of forgiveness is definitely pretty big in this like category of things that people do. Because I feel like people make mistakes like that quite often, and I feel like most of the time it's not on purpose. It is a learned thing. Like, you remember in like 2000, the early 2000s, people used to use the R word all the time.
We were some of them.
Exactly. Like, we've used, like, it was a learned behavior. We were taught that was socially acceptable. I feel like dressing up, the biggest ones, right, would be dressing up like a Mexican guy with a sombrero, dressing up as a sexy hula girl, sexy China girl, Native American, or like quote unquote Indian, you know. Those are like what top costume that people complain about and people have issues with. It's learned. People are like, oh yeah, that's for sale, therefore why can't I dress like that? But I think as long as people are learning from their mistakes, I'm open to forgiving them for those things.
So let's transition. Since you said guy with a sombrero, I want to show this 3 minute and 3 minute and 15 second YouTube video.
I I remembered what video you were showing after we were talking about it. I've seen the short version of this.
There's a shorter one?
There's like a Reels version.
Do you have it?
No, I don't.
Okay.
But it's okay. I don't think we need to show the full 3-minute video. We'll play it and then I'll just shorten it cuz yeah.
Hola amigos, this is Will Witt with PragerU. Today we're at UCLA talking to college students and on Olvera Street talking to Hispanics in honor of Halloween and to see if my outfit is offensive. Dang it. Would you guys like to chat with us today? No? That's what we want to talk to you about. Find it offensive?
Maybe a little.
Do you think my outfit is offensive?
Are you Mexican?
No.
Yes.
I think it reaffirms stereotypes that are offensive to people.
You think people really think Mexican people are like this and carry around marachas?
No, I don't think people actually think that.
Do you find my outfit offensive?
Yes. Yeah.
Why?
Because it's not your culture.
Cultural appropriation? Why do you say that?
Because you're not like Mexican.
You think Mexican food is like cultural appropriation?
No.
Someone else's culture that we've kind of taken.
You don't really understand what their culture means and what it means to wear these things, like the hats and the maracas. You know, you sort of have to understand where all of this comes from for it to not be cultural appropriation.
Can I just ask you, do you like my costume?
I like your mustache.
Do you?
Monthly.
Does my outfit offend you?
You look no. You look nice.
Thank you. Do you like my costume?
Yes.
Does it offend you?
Es ofensivo.
No.
No, nothing. That's good.
Do you like my outfit?
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
Does my outfit offend you?
No, not at all.
Some people get offended by what I'm wearing.
No, it's not. It's not offensive. I think it's you're in the right atmosphere.
Yeah. Do you know who sold me this?
No idea.
Mexicans.
Oh, really?
And so you're white and you get offended, but then Mexican people who sold me this and made me this don't get offended.
I noticed that, yes.
Seems kind of weird, doesn't it?
I love it, actually.
You think it's offensive?
No, not at all.
Some people get really offended by this. Why do you think that is?
I don't know, just you're not Mexican, so people think that you have to be Mexican to wear that.
I'm celebrating Mexico.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Are you Mexican?
I am.
See?
I'm not
Me-
wearing it.
See? Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we should swap
Yeah.
outfits.
Yeah, exactly.
This, like, he has about 2 other videos that I saw. And it was consistent where he would go into the culture and talk to the people, and they seemed to be fine with it. But all the students were like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? And I have to say it confused me. It confused me.
I think this topic, like we said before, is a confusing topic because, again, where is the line? Where do I cross the line? I would like to point out that so just in this video example alone, I haven't seen the other videos, he is on, is it Olvera Street or Overla? I've been there before and I don't remember what it is. I think it's Olvera Street. I'm just going to Google that really quick. Olvera. Yes, Olvera. So for those of you who don't know, Olvera Street is a historic area in Los Angeles that is very Mexican heritage, sort of like themed. I don't want to say themed. What's the word I'm looking for here? It focuses on Mexican heritage, right? There's a lot of museums and food and shops and stuff like that, right? So when he's in that area and he's talking to people, he's dressed like that. It kind of makes sense. He's in a Mexican heritage location, a historic area. So his outfit, although with the little taped mustache, whatever, makes more sense. They sell those sombreros there. I don't know what the ponchos are called, but he actually is wearing a really nice one. Like, it's not one of those, it's not one of those, like, yeah, it looks pretty decently well made. It doesn't look like those cheap, like, little printed fabric ones you get at, like, I don't know, like
Spirit store.
Spirit or something, you know? So it makes sense that it would almost make sense that he would dress that way. And I think that also plays into what we were talking about earlier, the event and location in which he is at, it makes more sense. Now he's on campus. I think he said USC or something. Doesn't make sense. Why would he dress like that? Of course, like, it doesn't make any sense, and it's going to be seemed a little more like, all right, dude, like, what are you trying to get at? What are you doing? I think one of the girls in there pointed out a good question. Is he reinforcing negative stereotypes the way that he's dressing at the location that he's at? You know?
Yeah. So basically what I'm hearing from you, there's a time and place.
Yeah.
Like, being, like, if you were really there to sell the culture and be part of it and experience it, and you got regalia, for lack of a better term.
Good word. Yeah.
To be in that space, to be among the people and to connect, that is okay. But if we're just like out and about, joking around, like, hey, like, look at me, look what I got, we might be stepping into cultural appropriation.
Yeah. Like, I feel like a very small example would be like, you wouldn't wear your work uniform outside of your work hours, right? It doesn't make any sense.
Unless I'm just being lazy and I'm just going somewhere.
Well, I'm talking about like, if not a work day, I'm talking about like uniform, not like, oh, I wear ties and stuff to work. I'm talking about like uniform. Like, if I work at a place that I have to wear a branded t-shirt, I'm not going to walk around in my branded t-shirt for fun outside of work hours.
Right.
Time and place, is very significant.
The only exception I would think is like if I was going somewhere first and then I was heading.
I just said outside of work. That doesn't count.
No, like I'm heading to work, but like
I know that you're still headed to work or you're coming from work. It makes sense. Okay. I'm talking about like non-work related. Like,
yeah, for sure.
You
like,
have Saturday. Yeah, you have Saturday off, and you're going to the beach. And you're like, let me put on my work t-shirt. Like,
I'm going to the mall.
Yeah,
and I'm not going to work at all that day.
Exactly. But yeah, so I do think, I will say, I'm not really a fan of their YouTube channel.
Okay.
Just because they're very conservative,
yes,
one would say.
They are.
And they do, from some videos that I've seen, they do like really negative sort of stuff towards anyone who's like even slightly liberal, but I digress. I think he was making a good point, and that's fine. We can agree with people who have different like opinions. It's fine. But I do think that he missed the point of like locale and who he's talking to. What did you think about the very last one where the guy is like, oh, well, I'm Mexican. I don't find that offensive.
I think he's just not easily offended. And that's okay. Like, if someone is... I feel like I have mixed feelings.
Mm-hmm.
So, if I say something, if I do something insensitive, it's really not, like, it is on me, but it's not on me. And I mean, like, it's on me because I care and I want to be a person that's not offensive, and that's how it is on me. But honestly, at the end of the day, like, how you take it in, how you respond, is that really my responsibility?
That's a good point. No, that is a good point, because like you would argue the same thing of how someone wants to dress any other day of the week. Like, if I want to walk outside like this today, I'm not going to, but if I wanted to and I'm fine with it, then that's all that matters. If someone wants to look at me and go, wow, what a weirdo, that's on them. Like, I get what you're saying, like, totally. I think the difference...
Oh, go ahead.
I just think the difference is that this is not offending anyone, I think. If it is, let me know. But, like, I don't think this is negatively impacting anyone's way of life or culture.
Right.
Like, like, not that I'm aware of. Again, let me know if I'm wrong in the comments.
But then on the other hand, aren't we responsible for the impact that we make or the attitudes that we carry with us? So it's like,
But again, are they hurting anyone? Because one would argue the same thing for like homosexuality. Like, oh, well, I don't like that. I find that you holding your husband's hand in public is offensive to me. Like, it's not actually literally harming anyone. You can, you can look away.
yeah. And my argument would be at the end of the day, it's none of your business.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, how does this really affect you? Does it affect your livelihood, how you make money, how you provide for your family, how you choose to be kind or unkind to people in this world?
Your physicality, like stuff like that. So I guess we could make the same argument for dressing up like a sexy hula girl. Is it harming anyone? And I would argue that yes, it actually is harming anyone because it is reinforcing a stereotype about hula girls. Because if anyone was to do any type of research, they would know that hula is a religious practice. It's not supposed to be for entertainment. It can be for entertainment, but it started as a religious practice, a way to worship the different deities in the Hawaiian culture. So dressing up as a sexy hula girl, it is harming because it is a stereotype that is saying, oh yeah, it's just a performance. It's just sexy girls being half naked, which it is not. So while someone may be dressing like a sexy hula girl, I'm like, well, you're just taking offense to this, and you can do you and I'll do me. I think because it is harmful, therefore it is bad, regardless of how either of us are perceiving it.
Yes. So that brings me to the story that I wanted to share with you. It's kind of a drag performance story.
Mm-hmm.
So I have permission to say this artist's name, Anita Rose. I love
hey.
Anita Rose. Love Anita Rose.
Wait, little sideline. I've
Good.
definitely met Anita like multiple times. And at your wedding, she's like, oh, hi, so nice to meet you for the first time. I was like, Anita, no. And then I thought maybe it was just because she was in drag, but then she got out of drag and it was still the same thing. And I was like, how am I so easily forgotten? Anyway.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm still supporting from the sidelines. It's fine. Continue.
So Anita was dating this one person at this one time, and Anita had done this performance a million times. And she's dressed up in leopard outfit, leopard print, not really reminiscent of African culture, but kind of, but not really. Like, it was more like fab chic, and maybe because I just love her and like we're family, like I just have like rose glasses on, and like, I'm like, oh my god, yes. But the person that she was dating at the time, not that we had beef at this time, because we didn't. We did have a little bit of beef because I wasn't.
But that's
sure.
another story.
Yeah.
That's
but like this is like later down the road, and so like I go to see them perform, and he's gonna do a famous Anita number. Anita has done this song from The Lion King, like He Lives in You. From the Broadway play.
Yeah.
And it's such an amazing song and performance, and it can be powerful, right? And so the guy that she was dating at the time did it, and it was very African reminiscent versus like drag performance, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But he was white and skinny. So I'm like, am I just being like, because he's white? And stuff anyways, he goes through the performance, and I'm just like, that performance kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Like, it was good, and I cheered at the end, but like, I was like, there's something doesn't sit right with me. Like, I feel like this is a little bit of cultural appropriation, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? Like, I don't think any real harm was meant.
Yeah.
I think you just wanted to entertain, and the goal was to redo a song that Anita has done and do it like her and then differently.
Okay. That is a very, I mean, I was not there, so I did not see it, and I can't compare the two because I haven't seen them, but that is an interesting one because you're right. It's not technically harming anyone, but, and this is me playing devil's advocate, did he have any damn business? No, sorry. Did he have any business doing that? Like, when you say African inspired, like, yes, The Lion King is an African inspired, it's taken from an actual story. But, like, not? Like, the Broadway play is just based off of the story. It still has a lot of African themes in it. Have you ever seen that one though?
I've seen parts and
Oh
stuff.
my
I've never seen it
gosh.
like for real, like gone to see it. But I've seen like YouTube stuff and stuff.
I have. It's beautiful. Anyway, I don't know, man. That brings the question, like, could an event, an item, a costume, an outfit, a song, a word, a hairstyle, makeup style, whatever, could it be considered either or based on individual values?
I think that's what it leads down to.
Because, like, so for you, you're just like, oh, that's pretty African. I can tell that you're probably not African. I've talked to you. I'm pretty sure you're not African. Should you really be doing that? And it rubs you the wrong way, whereas there could have been other audience members like, oh, that was a fabulous Lion King rendition. You know, like,
And there really were. There were, like, I can tell you there were people there.
yeah. So
Like that.
I would want, like, I think a lot of things really comes down to an individual and what we're taught and what we end up, like, valuing as our beliefs. We talked about this with our guest John, which I think he's coming up, or I think he's in one of our next episodes. I'm very excited for that one. It's always nice talking to John. Where we talked about the difference between values and beliefs. What do you value? What is a belief? What is taught to you? What is something that is intrinsically part of yourself? And while I'm very much for respecting people's cultures and leaving them to their cultures, I can see where there's a lot of, like, crossover that is not, you know, that big of a deal or too bad.
Oh, let's I was getting ready to close, but actually let's bring this up. Hawaiian barbecue. Oh no, Hawaiian barbecue. Appropriation or not appropriation?
So here's the thing about Hawaii and about a lot of places that were colonized in particular. The things that are considered Hawaiian food are not Hawaiian food. So on a Hawaiian barbecue, if you are from Hawaii, it's kind of like L&L, but not nearly as good, right? If you're not from Hawaii, you have no idea what L&L or on a Hawaiian barbecue is, think like what you would traditionally think to be like Hawaiian style food. Teriyaki chicken being like the biggest thing. Chicken katsu, spam musubi, things like that, right? So it's hard because that is local food. We had a lot, if you don't know any like Hawaiian history, in, when was it? Like the 1800s, 1700s? I can't remember the exact time period, but we had a lot of sugar plantations there, right?
Yes.
Sugar cane grew prolifically out there, and so they turned it into a huge thing where they would export, right? And in order to have people to work the fields, a lot of people from different countries moved to Hawaii to work there because it was not easy work, but like it was easy to get the job, and you could live there and you had housing provided to you, right? And so what ended up happening is all these different cultures ended up like mashing together to create what is now considered Hawaiian food. But there is a disparity in the word Hawaiian, right? Whereas the general population believes the word Hawaiian specifically relates to the state of Hawaii and all that encompasses it. So if you live in Hawaii, you are Hawaiian. Whereas on the other side of it, on like the Hawaiian, like Kanaka, like the actual people of Hawaii, we see ourselves, that they see themselves, I see myself as like separate from that. The state of Hawaii and the kingdom of Hawaii are two separate entities that unfortunately share the same English word of Hawaiian. So, long-winded. I would say no. Own a Hawaiian barbecue, stuff like that. It's not cultural appropriation because it's just almost a bastardization of the state of Hawaii local cuisine. If someone was to open up a restaurant where they serve traditional Hawaiian food and called it Hawaiian, but then did some other hoopla to it, yeah, I'd be pretty upset. Kind of like how a lot of people are upset with how popular poke is and what people are doing to it. Like, I don't understand. Like, y'all, like, American poke is disgusting. I don't know what y'all are doing. It is probably one of the worst dishes I've ever tasted in my life. It's gross. Okay? Sorry. All offense meant.
Well, I've only had American poke, and I like getting the spicy tuna.
Okay, I'm gonna have to make some for you. Like, but then again, poke is technically also a local cuisine, but it's based off of a Hawaiian traditional food, so more gray area stuff that we're surfing over here.
You know what I say about Ono? Oh no.
Oh gosh. I mean, I get food from there just when I'm feeling very like homesick and I'm like, damn, I could just really go for like a plate lunch, right? It's close enough that I'll eat it, but yeah.
All right. I think that we can wrap up this conversation. Let us know what your thoughts are. Because we are not the end-all be-all authority. Mm-hmm. We're just trying to figure it out and live good, decent lives.
Right.
And you are free to have your own opinion, your own thoughts. Let us know. But let us know in the comments. Let us know. Like, we want to hear from you. We want to connect. We want to learn and discover and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And if you have a lot to say that doesn't fit in the comment box, go ahead and send us a message. We'd love to have you on the podcast if you have, more insight on this topic. Like, if you have a big opinion that differs from us, let us know. I'm willing to go there with you.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Today's life lesson is authenticity. The famous Dr. Brene Brown said, authenticity is not something we have or don't have. It's a practice. It's a conscious choice of how we want to live. Authenticity is a collection of choices that we have to make every day. It's about the choices to show up and be real. The choice to be honest. The choice to let our true selves be seen. So I ask you, what's holding you back? Think about it. Now, are you going to continue letting said thing hold you back? And that is today's life lesson.